Hi, everyone, and welcome to Parity Consulting's podcast, Success WoMantras. Today, I'm delighted to be in conversation with Anuja Bhargava, who is the head of General Counsel Shared Services at Fidelity International. Hi, Anuja, how are you? Great to have you here with us today.
I'm very good, Pia. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. So, I want to start the conversation with a topic I feel is very important but not spoken about enough. You have created a successful career for yourself, Anuja, held critical roles at big organizations, and you're a self professed introvert. How has that impacted your career journey?
Well, it has definitely impacted my career journey. But before I start answering this into greater detail, Pia, I would like to tell you about a small incident which happened when I was just starting my professional career journey. And we're all put into this one big room and given a task to visualize a leader. Now, people who were good in drawing, they drew something. People who could write in words, they wrote something. And then when the person who was facilitating the conversation heard what everybody was speaking or had drawn, some things which that person came up with as a common thing which everybody was visualizing. First of all, male figure, but standing on the stage or leading the meeting, or dominance, say for instance. And whether difficult situations, dominance is playing a big role, or speaking on the stage is playing a big role in getting the teams together, making a vision, etc. And there I was sitting at the back and thinking that, oh, you know what, my career graph is about to start, but it is never going to go above the x-axis only, and it is going to go light, that flat, because I'm none of that. As in, I'm not somebody who's going to be leading from the front, standing on the stage, and definitely not a male figure. As in, so that was first moment when I thought, oh, either I have to change, or my career graph is going to be just the x-axis. And those were the self-doubt moments. Those were the moments when I was thinking, oh, am I doing the right thing? What is going to happen next? A lot of anxiety, etc. And this has stayed through, as in this leading from the front or dominance. Sometimes leadership is also seen as synonym to dominance or being an extrovert. I have felt that sometimes when we are choosing the right person for the role, we're looking for these traits. Maybe these were defined way back in early 19th century or maybe late 18th century, that this is how a leader should be. But again, we've seen leaders like Gandhiji or others who were not extroverts, but they have done well. So it has definitely impacted, but I have somehow managed to hold myself, and I may have changed a bit, but not significantly. But I have managed to stay as what I am. And now I don't have any guilt in saying it in a large forum as well. Yes, that I am an introvert, and I don't mind being slightly different or having different leadership capabilities than what the standard leadership capabilities defined in the management books would be. One of the things which really which I was able to work on, as in my strength area, is that I'm obviously a very active listener. And when I listen to people, I'm able to define the problem statement very well. And sometimes, actually a lot of times we go wrong in defining the problem statement only. But once you have the right problem statement, I'm also able to take the team along. I can hear different solutions from people. I can take people along to formulate what the right solution is, and then obviously implement it with the help of the people. So this is something where I have really excelled. And in doing this, I have a very good relationship with my team, whichever team you talk about, high levels of trust within the team, good communications within the team. And this obviously gets reflected in the outcome or in the productivity. So that's my story in brief, Priya.
Yeah, such important points. And I think, a lot of what you spoke about also, brings to light the unconscious biases that we all have, right? Research has shown that people that are taller, people that are more good looking are given preference in job interviews. So similarly, in the workplace, people who are extroverts or are speaking out loud are always thought to be making more of an impact. But the points you raise are very important, and how you've used that to listen in more and create value, I think is a very important point to highlight. So let me ask you, Anuja, has this experience also impacted the way you have defined success for yourself?
The definition of success, Pia, keeps getting changed. As in, when I was very young, as in school, success was getting better grades, all India rank, etc. And then the definition of success changed to promotion, sometimes even money, sometimes even which company you're working with, etc. So the definition of success obviously kept changing, and it's just like the Maslow's theory that, as you grow up, and so I'm not saying that I'm on the top and have that self-actualization already there, but yeah, currently the definition of success to me is being happy and also being a learning mode, not in a mode where I'm not intellectually stimulated. So this is the definition of success for me as of now. I wouldn't say it has impacted, because the success is from within, and success is not, what the external world gives you. So I say it hasn't impacted on my definition of success.
Sure. You have, of course, created, and achieved a lot of success for yourself. And are there any achievements that you are the most proud of?
Well, yeah, there are a few achievements which I can talk about here, and I know you're going to be looking at some hardcore stats, hearing it from a chartered accountant, but I'll go with the qualitative first. And this is what I've heard from people saying, that I'm somebody who's very easy to work with, and I've left a memorable mark with whomsoever I've worked, and hopefully they meant positive. But yes, I've managed to leave a mark on people's career journey. Talking about numbers, etc. So one of the things which I'm really proud of is setting up this current team, the General Counsel Shared Services team. As in, we started this when COVID had hit us, and there were a lot of times when recruitment was a challenge. Getting the team together in the office was obviously a challenge, since we were all remotely working. So imbibing the culture of the company, and Fidelity has a great culture. So how you imbibe that great culture in the new joiners, and these were the few challenges from the point of view of only team, and then obviously how the work would be happening, etc. were a few of the challenges which we overcame. So I'm really proud of this team which we've set up here, and we're doing some very good compliance related work from here, data analytics work, of which I'm really proud of. The other thing, as in running hackathon, and now you would start wondering, hey, she just mentioned she's a chartered accountant, why would she run a hackathon? Yeah, we've run 2 hackathons where I've been the co-sponsor. Obviously, the other co-sponsor has been from technology team, but both of us have led these hackathon globally at a global level. And these 2 hackathons would have resulted something into like a 5,000 hour efficiency for the organization, making new capabilities within the organization, and obviously leveraging data to a better in a better way. So these are the few accomplishments I'm happy to talk about.
Wonderful. Anuja, I do want to go back a little bit to, what we started our conversation on, being an introvert. And I know that, now you're very comfortable speaking about it, but perhaps, for our listeners who are probably going through that same experience right now and don't know how to deal with that situation, or, have that self-imposter syndrome, thinking that I'm not good enough because I'm not speaking out loud. Can you share from your experience, how was it when you went through it, and what were maybe some tools that helped you get over that time?
Sure. It wasn't easy, let me put it that way, Pia. It was definitely not easy, because the world gives you a lot of feedback, and it's up to you as to how do you deal with the feedback. Sometimes you could take the feedback to your heart and have that imposter syndrome, which you were talking about, and build on that imposter syndrome. Sometimes you can work on it, and sometimes you just don't know how to work on it. Or sometimes like I didn't relate to a lot of feedback when I got that, hey, you should be speaking more in the meetings, hey, you got to be more assertive, when people were hinting towards being more aggressive in my definition of assertive and aggressive. And so it's up to every individual to pick up what they want to do. But a few things which worked for me: first, be comfortable with yourself. And this is something which I learned from my role model within Fidelity. This is a very senior leader, and he spoke about how he's an introvert, how comfortable he is now with not only talking about it, but also not changing his style. So that helped me a lot in terms of, hey, if a senior leader within Fidelity can do it, why can't I? It's not that I didn't work on the feedback which I was hearing from everyone, but at the same time, as in when I was experimenting with myself, I thought that sometimes I was just making a fool of myself, because butting in, say for instance, or speaking out of turn was not my forte, and I was probably asking silly questions. I would asking questions which would have a red herring discussion, and that may have been accepted, may not have been accepted. I don't know about others, but internally, I didn't feel good about it. And I wasn't doing thing where I'm best at, which is listening, thinking, observing, and then delivering. So I just felt that I was putting on this mask to say so. And one of the other senior leaders in the organization said that, hey, we should not be wearing any mask when we come to the office. And Fidelity really encourages us to be like the way we are and accept it the way we are rather than change. So that's something which as in resonated a lot with me. And I said, I probably don't want to wear a mask and I'm good the way I am. And I know at times you've got to air your thoughts. So I'm not saying don't air your thoughts and just keep quiet, but at the same time, just don't be in that competition to be in the top chart of just speaking and not listening to others. These are the few things which I did. I don't know if they worked or not, but yes, things which I did to have peace of mind and also be able to express my views in a better way.
And do you think that your career would have looked different if you had tried to fit in and not be your authentic self? Do you ever think about that, or do you have any thoughts on what would that have looked like?
I don't know about my career, but my mental well-being wouldn't have been the same. My peace with myself wouldn't have probably been the same.
Sure.
And there are obviously these ifs, and you could do predictability, everything. It could mean very different things, but my mental well-being, for sure, I could say wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah, I think that's such an important point you raise, because ultimately you're talking about being authentic, right? And it's great that you had a couple of people like that in your organization who were comfortable enough to also share that they were an introvert, and that hasn't stopped them from being a leader. And other people who encouraged you to be yourself by being themselves. And I think that's why sessions like these are important for people to see that a successful person like you, Anuja, has been successful, by being authentic, by accepting your personality, even if it wasn't the personality that the corporate world thought was correct at that time. So that's really great that you shared that. So let me end with a last question on what is something that people get wrong about success?
Well, success is very, very individualistic. So you can't judge by saying where you going wrong. So I think, first of all, the definition of success, which I only said keeps changing. So yeah, that's a goalpost. So it keeps changing and one should be comfortable with that. The other thing is also which I've felt is, and this is something very contrary to things which we have studied in the school, and you said never give up kind of a thing. But we're the generation who has been brought up by learning this rhyme, Itsy Bitsy Spider. Remember that one? Itsy Bitsy Spider, and the rain comes.
Of course. Yes.
So yeah, we've always been born and brought up with that culture that it's not over till I win kind of a thing. But I've always felt it just gives a lot of unnecessary pressure to the individual, and sometimes we miss something which is right there standing in front of us, because we've defined that we have to climb this spout, but there could be another spout which is not as slippery, a better view it gives, better food it gives, say for instance, anything better. But we are so determined to climb the spout which we have set ourselves for, that we miss seeing the other spouts, and we just keep going round and round and keep getting anxious about it, unhappy about it. Hey, we're not able to climb that spout. So this is something which, as in, I also had two things in my mind. Oh, should I just go for it, or if there's something more lucrative, should I go for the other one? And I've always found that if there's something which is standing right next to you, which is not the spout which you had aimed for, go for it. That's always. The other thing is, career is not always like this line on the graph. It's very zigzag. Zigzag could also mean going down. Zigzag could also mean that you take a move which is at the same level, work at it, and then go up. I've changed a couple of roles within Fidelity, and again, Fidelity is an organization which really promotes career vitality. That's an internal term, but we mean that how you are getting the best out of your career by being in multiple roles. And I don't think ever I have moved in a role which is a lateral level up. I've always moved and then gone up, kind of a thing. So sometimes you want to move only when they're getting a level up, getting a promotion. I think that's good, but at the same time, we should be ready to experiment, ready to take that risk, and ready to move at the same level as well. So these couple of things which sometimes are very contradictory to what we have studied
Yes.
in our younger days, but I have felt practically in our practical life as if these things really work.
Interesting. Yeah, that is different from what we hear all the time. But appreciate you sharing all of this so candidly, Anuja. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I certainly learned a lot. The power in being authentic, true to yourself, helps you realize what your strengths really are, how you realize your strengths were about listening and then adding value. To your teams, to the work, and also not defining success in one way and finding those other routes to get to where you want to go. And I really like the point that we ended on about lateral moves, right? Not always going up, but maybe going sideways to get again to the same destination. So thank you, Anuja, for being here with us. Before we close, any closing comments you'd like to share?
No, I think you summarized it very well, Priya. I would just say, stay happy, stay who you are, and be comfortable with yourself.
That's a great point to end on. Thank you again, Anuja, and thank you to all our listeners for watching in today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.